Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the Lightspeed bundles. We've got an account update here for you, a small account update for you guys. You guys can let me know in the comments if you think I'm a whale after I talk about it. So, let's get in here. First and foremost, gotta thank the channel members so much for all their continued support. My Wampa and Jedi Master tier members, thank you guys for continually just putting your faith in me to provide good quality content to the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community. And of course, I would be remiss if we didn't thank those on the council. And huge thank you to Clokey, who donated a lot of these channel memberships. He is a fantastic member in that Wampa tier. So again, guys, thank you so much for putting your faith in me. If you're a channel member, even if it's gifted, make sure you join the Discord that's linked in the video description down below. And then in the Discord, what you're going to do, tag a mod and make sure that you link your YouTube and Discord together, and you'll get access to the members only section of the Discord to have a lot more direct contact with yours truly, Fat Phil. Let's get into the video, guys. Let's talk about these Lightspeed bundles. So, you got to tell me if I'm a whale, because I did purchase a second one. We finally went and got the Rebel. We went and got the Rebel Lightspeed bundle. Now, let's just show you. I already had all of these things at least at the Lightspeed bundle level or higher. When you look at Lando, like obviously it didn't come with Omicrons, and but it did give me, you know, the Harris family and Barbecue Boy down here, right? You guys let me know if you get the reference on Barbecue Boy. One of the guys in my during the live stream last night said I should have said that it'd be really good clickbait if I said that it came with mods. These were mods I had on my Phoenix team long before the Lightspeed bundle, so very happy I did that. And there's a big reason I bought this pack, and this is going to go to a lot of the players who bought the Rebel pack. So again, that's my update on, you know, purchase the pack, and here's why, and this is what you should be doing post this Rebel bundle, right? What do you want to be purchasing? So your priority needs to be Captain Rex. You have got to start farming this guy. If he wasn't already in your farming plans, farm him. You bought the Phoenix. He's the glue for the Phoenix. He is what makes them good. His unique ability here. Captain Rex gains 25% critical chance, 40% max health, 25 speed, and 40% tenacity. And whenever another Phoenix ally uses a special, he assists. So, let's go back up here a second. Remember what Hera's unique ability does. Each active Phoenix ally grants their unique to other Phoenix allies. So everybody is going to be calling assists whenever those special abilities are being used. Make him a priority. You want to Zeta this ability, and honestly, you want the Omicron as well. The Omicron for 5v5 works with Phoenix, and in 3v3 it works with clones. It is a just incredibly useful Omicron and Zeta. They're very, very good. I highly recommend that Zeta there. Again, Zeta is the priority. Zeta here is on the Lost Commander. The Master Marksman, this is a good Zeta, and it is important in the sense that you can get your cooldowns reset, and that will keep you being able to use specials and spamming assists. The reason I have this more on the luxury side of things is that it's contingent on Rex getting a kill. So it does take, you know, offensively, it's a lot easier to take full advantage of this ability. Defensively, not so much, right? It's a lot more like you're kind of, you know, on the side of that, like, you know, we're getting into that territory of a little bit more luxury than not, but priority on his Lost Commander Zeta and Omicron. We've got to do those. Those are the first, that's the first Zeta I would equip. You want Captain Rex to use with that Phoenix team. They're incredibly important. Now, if you had the Starkiller pack, or you already have Starkiller and you got Old Ben, you want to put a Zeta on Devoted Protector. This Zeta, when this taunt expires, Old Ben taunts for one more turn. So he taunts for 2 turns. When it expires, he gains taunt for 1 turn, which means he gets a 3-turn taunt. That is huge. And also, if somebody tries to dispel that, he still regains that taunt again. So very, very good ability here, particularly with Starkiller, who you want Old Ben taunting for as much as you can, particularly when he's got damage immunity. You think of going up against Galactic Legends Rey, she could be doing sudden whirlwinds, and as long as your Ben has damage immunity, which he can a lot in that Starkiller battle, nothing happens to your team, and it's amazing. His other Zeta here, this one's nice, but not quite as important as Devoted Protector, in my opinion, because this is like, oh, if Ben dies, and Ben will die at times. Like, this does help you, but I don't think it's as useful as having him taunt for a longer period of time. That taunt comes in so much good. There's so much good out of that taunt. So again, I think that's a big priority if you have Star Killer and you don't have it already. Those Zeta, that Zeta on Devoted Protector, very, very important, I think, to your overall success in Galaxy of Heroes. So those would be the first two Zetas I would do personally, because I think they're going to give you the most bang for your buck in terms of where else you've already been invested. Now for the Phoenix Zetas themselves, these three characters right here are the Zeta priorities for the Phoenix team, and they're going to create the optimal Phoenix team. Your optimal Phoenix team with this is actually, I should have done this, your optimal Phoenix team, let me just go to the Phoenix real quick. You're going to want to use Hera lead, obviously, Captain Rex, Chopper, Kanan, and Sabine. That's going to be what I would, the quote-unquote A team. So you could kind of skip the Zetas on Ezra and Zeb right now. I just don't think they're going to be as impactful, particularly because, like, the best Phoenix team is these 5 characters right here. So you're going to want to maximize their Zetas. For me, I would say you want to do Kanan's first. That's because this is where you can, this is his mass cleanse. You need the mass cleanse. Dispel all debuffs on Phoenix allies. That's the biggest part of this ability. Dispelling all those debuffs. So you get any kind of daze, any debuffs on you, Kanan can dispel them. Extremely valuable Zeta there. Next, I would go with Sabine's Demolish. This is a really good ability because you can reduce Sabine's cooldowns by 2 on a critical hit. So if you critically hit somebody, you're going to reduce her cooldowns. Why is that an important thing? Well, number one, this is a cooldown of 5. So you use this, you score a critical hit, now it's on a cooldown of 3. But it's her Dark Saber Strike that inflicts armor shred with a cooldown of 2. So you think first turn, okay, you're going to go ahead, use, like this ability we can spam. We want to spam this ability as much as we can, right? We want to be reducing those cooldowns. But if you can keep doing this, it is so good in AoE, allies gaining critical chance up, offense up, reducing cooldowns on a critical hit, staggers. If you can spam this ability on offense, it will do you wonders against certain teams. Particularly, you think of a team like Inquisitors, where you can manipulate their turn meter. This becomes extremely important. And then, being able to deal 15% more damage for each Mandalorian and or Phoenix ally, hey, I love that, right? Then finally, you've got Hera's play to the strengths. This Zeta is decent, and again, this one is good from the standpoint that, again, it's adding another Dispel. Now, it's only a targeted Dispel, but more importantly, it's in reducing their cooldowns by 1. Remember, this entire team is centered around the fact that you need to use specials, right? That as you use specials, everybody's assisting, dealing more damage. So if you can keep everybody's cooldowns as low as possible, constantly refreshing them, the world's going to be a happier place. And that's why you use Chopper in that team, because he doesn't have a Zeta. But on his basic, he has a 60% chance to reduce a cooldown by 1. So you're constantly calling assists, which means Chopper's assisting every single time that a special is used. That means he has a 60% chance every single time he uses his basic to reduce cooldowns. And if you can keep that going, kind of get in that loop, you can really do a lot of damage with this team. And that's exactly, like, in my opinion, this was why I bought this pack, is I wanted the Phoenix team. These would be the Zetas I would equip. There are no other Zetas that I would recommend doing here. I would not do anything for Princess Leia. Akbar doesn't have a Zeta. He has the Omicron. I wouldn't really do that. And obviously, we're not going to do either of Farm Boys right now. Like, that's just, let's not do that. So that's the Phoenix bundle there. Let's make sure that we do that properly, right? You want to get this bundle. You want to get the Phoenix team first, with Rex as the priority. Adding in Old Ben if you've got Star Killer, because I think that's a very, very big thing for a lot of you. If you have Star Killer, you can make Old Ben a priority. Otherwise, kind of put him below the Phoenix here. Now, I'm going to pause for a second before we go into the Best Armor Mando bundle. For this, I'm not saying that you need to have all these Zetas tomorrow, but these are the Zetas that you want to equip post bundles. Remember, you want to take advantage of these Lightspeed bundles. You don't just want to buy these bundles and then let these characters sit where they are with no mods for the next 6 months. You want to take advantage of these characters while you have them. So whenever you can fit them into your farming plans, you've got to do it. And if you have to spend the next 6 months modding, Zeta-ing, all that stuff, that's what you might have to do depending on how many of these you purchased. So I'm just trying to show you the ones I would recommend so you can get the most out of this team, right? Which I would say you want to do Kanan first for that mass dispel, the mass cleanse. That's going to be so crucial. Now, let's flip over to the Beskar Armor Mando bundle. We've got to talk about this one as well. For Beskar Armor Mando, you know what? Pause here for a second. Time out. I forgot to mention this earlier in the video. I have a whole playlist of Lightspeed bundle stuff. So all the content related to Lightspeed bundles, I created a new playlist. If you're thinking, hey, Phil, what about Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Rey, Starkiller? All that stuff is in there. Every single Lightspeed bundle, every video I've done, I created a new playlist there. I want to mention that. Now let's talk about Beskar Armor Mando. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place this morning. So with this bundle, you get all these characters at Relic 5. So there you go, all Relic 5. If you have not purchased, if you did not already have Beskar Armor Mando, go get him, right? Go complete that event, get it done. And I'd recommend starting to gear him up. Beskar Armor Mando is a fantastic character. If you have the Executor fleet, you should have him relics already. He's a brilliant character, adds a lot of versatility to your account. A lot of players in the end game kind of crap on Beskar Armor Mando, and then you get to the lower levels of the game and people get demolished by him. He is such a good character. I'm going to show you how to take the best advantage of this pack. So, let's start with Grief Karga and Beskar Armor or the OG Mando. If you have a solid bounty hunter team, think if you've got like Executor, you bought that Executor bundle, the 2 Zetas you're going to want to equip here. Grief Karga has 2 Zetas, but you only want to equip, you want to start with Sweeten the Deal. This is dispelling all debuffs on bounty hunter allies, and then if they have their payouts, they gain tenacity up. This is the most important Zeta for a lot of the bounty hunters. Being able to dispel debuffs is huge. Then on Mando here, OG Mando, the first, each time he scores a critical hit, other bounty hunter allies gain half the amount of bonus turn meter. So on Disciplined Bounty Hunter here, throwing this Zeta down, Mando gains 30% turn meter. He always does that. But when he scores a critical hit, other bounty hunter allies gain half that amount. So it's not just on his basic, it's also on his special ability here. But it's also saying, hey, if you call him to assist, he critically hits, 30% turn meter for him, 15% for your team. So he can very quickly get your team to run laps around the enemy team, get ready for his contract. It is awesome. It's one of the best things you can do. It's a really good Zeta there. So those 2 Zetas, got to sweeten the deal first, then worry about Disciplined Bounty Hunter. Now, the other Zetas to go along here. You bought that pack. All right, Beskar Armor Mando. His Protective Intuition Zeta here. The first time each Scoundrel ally falls below 75% health, Beskar Armor Mando dispels all debuffs on himself, gains a stack of Whistling Birds, and the cooldown of Wonder of the Force is reset. Remember, Wonder of the Force is a mass cleanse, you equalize protection, then you recover protection, then you remove turn meter. Then you and the target other Scoundrel ally gain damage immunity for 1 turn and tenacity up. So this ability right here is crazily important. Being able to spam that damage immunity can save your team so much. It is so cool. I love this ability. Like, it is just unbelievably good, right? Yeah, he dispels all debuffs, gains this, and takes that bonus turn. So remember, in any battle, regardless if he's dazed, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a bonus turn. It just happens right away. So that's the first unique I would equip. That is crucial. Then we go to Queel's Frontier Wisdom. This is basically a mini leadership. At the start of battle, other droid and scoundrel allies. So Queel's not gaining these himself, right? But other droid and scoundrel allies gain 40% of his health, offense, potency, and max protection until the first time he's defeated. That is so good, right? This is a crucial Zeta. I love this Zeta so much. It juices those characters. This is how you see a lot of players who use like Hondo, Queel, and IG-11 as a team in 3v3 because Frontier Wisdom is basically a leadership. So that's just as unique. Very important Zeta there. Those 2 absolutely top tier important uniques for this team. Now Cara Dune, I almost put her in the luxury category, but I kept her up here because what kept me from saying luxury is that if she has potency up when she's defeated, she's revived with 50% of her max health, and she gains potency up again. This Zeta, this ability is so annoying. So annoying to deal with, and it completely changes the way you have to attack this team when she's on defense. Offensively, this is like a brilliant Zeta because you can almost guarantee she always has potency up. Defensively, a little bit harder because if they bring buff immunity, buff dispels, stuff can go haywire there. Or they bring a team that prevents revives. But when you have this Zeta, the reason I kept it off of luxury is because it does change how your opponent attacks this team. That it will just completely change what you have to do in order to beat her. Because they could bring just a random team in here and, hey, we're just going to kill Cara Dune and it doesn't matter, right? But, oh, crap, she's going to keep reviving. I've got to think about a team that I can get rid of that potency up because I don't want her constantly doing that. So that's another very good Zeta. And she's got a lot of synergy. She can go with Rebel Fighters. She can go with Scoundrels. We'll show you a couple of ways to utilize her. The two luxury Zetas I would say with this pack is IG-11, his Child's Favor here. So this is a cleanse, right? So where's it at in here? At the start of his turn, he dispels all debuffs from droid and scoundrel allies. For each debuff dispelled this way, IG-11 inflicts damage over time for 2 turns on a random enemy. So he's still going to dispel. It's just, hey, he's going to take those debuffs and throw them onto the enemy team in the form of damage over time. The reason this is luxury for me is that unless you're running a debuff-heavy team, this isn't doing a whole lot. Unless you're running a team with a crazy amount of debuffs, this ability is not worth it, in my opinion. Because there's other ways around it, too. Think, like, what happens if they go on a character who's, immune to damage over times, right? Like, it just, unless you're using a debuff-heavy team, this Zeta does not make a whole lot of difference to your account. And so, the way I look at it, is it nice to have? Yes, but you don't need it. And then Grief Karga's Bring Them In Cold is the other, I'd say, luxury Zeta in this listing here. This one, it's just adding 20% additional damage when allies have their payouts active. So it's not just 20% damage, but it's when allies have payouts active, you can deal, instead of 10% more damage, it's 30%. It's a good Zeta, but it's luxury. I don't think you need it. I used this Zeta for how long? Beating Lord Vader with Fennec using this. Luxury Zeta to me. It's not quite on that same level as the Sweeten the Deal, in my opinion. I think that's one that you can skip for a little bit and kind of come back to it when you've got some Zetas stocked up. So, how to take advantage of all of these characters. So for OG, Mando, and Grief Karga, think about your bounty hunters. These 3 bounty hunters here, obviously they came with a finalizer bundle and there's executor requirements. I think these 3 complement OG, Mando, and Grief really well. They're going to give you plenty of ways to get your contract. They've got a lot of survivability together. Just really, really solid team offensively and defensively. Grief and Mando on defense can be very scary because if they get rolling, they get a contract out, Mando snipes somebody, it can be game, set, match very quickly. And a preloaded bounty hunter team is a scary thing to deal with because they'll just keep running a train on you. And with Grief Karga starting in stealth, it can be so hard to get to him because you could be killing somebody. He pulls out his Sweeten the Deal, debuffs go away, everybody's gaining health and protection, and it's brutal. Now, I threw Fennec on this list for a couple of reasons. Fennec is our Lord Vader counter, right? That's everybody always talks about, oh, Lord Failure. I'm going to say right now, unless you have your Fennec team capable of beating Lord Vader, you're not allowed to call him Lord Failure. Until you're consistently beating Lord Vader with Fennec, you cannot call him Lord Failure. That's the new rule on the Fat Phil channel. With that said, it is a lot of Kyratex, but you have all the pieces now to beat Lord Vader. You have Grief, Mando, Bosk you should have at some point, right? Beskar Armor Mando, and then you go get Fennec. It's a lot of Kyratech, but to have a team, to have a non-galactic legend team capable of beating Lord Vader in 3v3 and 5v5 is huge. I highly recommend building her up. She's a Jabba requirement, so you're, money in the bank. Again, if you need that Lord Vader counter and you're trying to think of how to do it on a budget, this is it, right? That's the best way to do it. In 3v3, you've got to think, the reason you need Beskar Armor Mando and at good relic levels is because if Maul is present, you need Beskar Armor Mando there to give damage immunity to your team. In 5v5, similar situation, but you have a little bit more flexibility with who you can bring there. In 3v3, if Maul isn't in that team, you can bring OG Mando and life gets even easier. You get that annihilate, you get to disintegrate Royal Guard or somebody, and it's beautiful. So highly recommend, potentially putting her on the list of characters if you bought this pack and trying to get to Lord Vader, but at least have these guys to use with Grief and Mando. Now, what about IG-11, Cara Dune, and Queel, and even Beskar Mando himself? Another way to use him, Dash Rendar, Vandor, Chewbacca. These guys form a brilliant team. This is a team that it's so annoying to deal with because Vandor with his Zeta going to constantly be reviving people. Dash combined with Queel's unique is insane, right? Dealing so much more damage. And then because IG-11 has a taunt, he can protect Vandor Chewbacca from teams that otherwise could just zerg him down. So you're forcing them to have to use a team that ignores taunts or work around it, which in that time, Dash could maybe go and kill somebody. I left the 5th slot open because maybe you're going to use Beskar Mando to beat Lord Vader, so you've got to throw another scoundrel in here. I mean, Hondo slots in, Cara Dune could slot in, or even Beskar Mando slots in right here really, really nicely. Beskar Mando actually really good here because let's say they take your Vandor Chewbacca down to below 75% health, and Beskar Mando comes in, pops damage immunity. It's so frustrating. This team, yeah, it slaps. Right? I love this team. This is, and I say I love this team, like, I hate this team because I have to face it, but I love that this is a very good team. This is one I'd really love to have. I don't know that I could spend $20 right now. Now, how to really utilize Cara Dune, there's 2 ways. The Mon Mothma team, this is a stupid good team. They can run a turn meter train around so many different characters. I've seen this team stop Wampa. This team can stop Wampa in the right circumstances if they just keep gaining turn meter. With all the assists, he won't be able to ramp, and they'll just hammer him down. I've seen it happen. Even stupider is the Sana Staros team with Cara and Stormtrooper Han here with these characters. This is a solid team. This is even dumber than the Mon Mothma team. This is so good. This will stop a lot more stuff. Obviously, this can stop Wampa. This stops plenty of teams. Rebel Officer Leia Organa really dealing a lot of damage here. Cara and Stormtrooper Han make this team incredibly difficult to get around. They've got their taunts. Cara's going to be reviving. Yeah, it's just, I can't say enough good things about these teams here. So, sorry for the longer video, but that is, these Lightspeed bundles. What should you be farming now? How to take advantage of them. So, hopefully you guys like videos like this. Again, I'm not going to do this for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. We already talked about him, right? That's linked down below. So again, if you're still watching, Wampa is king. I love all of you. May the Force be with you. And in the comment section, make sure we put Wampa is king if you're still watching right now. I want to know who my 0.01% is. You guys are fantastic. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.